We're almost ready. I'm just filling up the water tank. Then we switch on the navigation app, the tracking system, yeah, and then we leave Marina Rubicon. I'm leaving now. Bye-bye. Marina Rubicon, this is sailing vessel Jambo. I'm currently leaving the marina towards Guadeloupe.
Okay, thank you very much.
Adios, see you in a couple of years.
See you, thank you.
Nice wind force 5, around 20 knots. It's like a déjà vu, because around the Canary Islands very often I had around 20 knots. So it's coming from astern, so I think we set the genoa and start slowly. Great start so far. We're cruising into the first sunset. At the moment Jambo is cruising with almost 6 knots speed, which is a little bit too slow from my gut feeling. But I think the ice has been growing a lot on the hull and probably needs a day or a couple of days to get rid of that, and then we should be a little bit faster. But speed is not the most important thing. I would like to get over without any breakdown. That's goal number 1. But great start so far. At the moment all alarms have switched on because there's a high-speed ferry coming from astern, but I guess they see us, looks like. Fuerteventura is port side. Has been a good test for both warning systems. Nice sunset. Down there I'm cooking. Some chicken wings with rice. Silently we are passing Fuerteventura. Not much wind at the moment. 3 before. Speed over ground 3.5 knots. It seems we are getting a little bit more wind at the moment, but let's wait and see. But great start into the night. Good morning! It's the first morning here on sea. Lovely sunrise at the moment. So I put the foresail beam in and we are traveling at the moment with 5.5 knots over ground. The night was very good. I could catch a good portion of sleep. Obviously interval sleeping. I got up every 30 minutes. There was not much. We had one ship nearby, which was a high-speed ferry. But apart from that, everything was pretty good. Yeah, now I'm enjoying this beautiful sunrise and my first coffee in the morning. 5 before, 5.5 to 6 knots speed over ground. Nice butterfly sailing. Good evening. Yeah, we are cruising into the second night. Sunset is not too far away. Yeah, I still have this little nasty cold. I hope it goes away over the next few days. I need to find my rhythm over the next few days as well. And then afterwards we have a look here on board how things are running, how we manage the water, how do we do the dishes, etc, etc. So many things. Good night. Good afternoon. It's now the 5th day on sea. It's running well. I'm extremely pleased. We have about 650 nautical miles behind. The wind was around 5 before all times. So at the moment the waves here are 1.5 meters, a few might be 2 meters high. The wind is coming from east-northeast. Our course is about 257 degrees. And with the wind coming from east-northeast, it was a good opportunity to pull up the second Genoa. That has been quite some work. I did that a couple of days ago. It takes 3 times as long as it takes when you are at least with a second crew member or with 3 people, because you have to run backwards and forwards here, pulling it in with the winch and then going there checking that everything is alright. But it took me about 1 hour. Then I had it up, and at the moment I sail it slightly reefed with wind around 18 knots. I could set bows full. That would be possible, but I don't know. Sometimes the bows are going up to 22, 23 and partially 25 knots. Then it would be too much, but I can sail this one up to 21 or 22 knots. That wouldn't be a problem. No, I think it was a good decision to do that because it's running well. We are doing good speed. All fine so far. Yeah, it's a little bit cold during the day. I mean, now when the sun is out over lunchtime, it's pretty good. It's pretty warm. Also in the cabin downstairs, I have good temperature around 25 degrees at the moment. During the night, it's outside around 16, and I keep it fairly warm around 20-22 degrees during the nights down there as well. So all not too bad, running well. Pretty cool at the moment. As already mentioned, I've decided to use this inReach Mini from Garmin, which gives me the opportunity to track what I'm sailing and send the tracking points to the shared map, and everybody can have a look at that. And then on the other hand, I get a weather forecast from here and also get text messages. But let's have a look on the app, because I can connect it here with the mobile phone. So let's go into the map. So what we see here is our track at the moment. I'm sending every 30 minutes the tracking points. And let's have a look on this one here, for instance. That was just about. So yeah, good speed, good course, running well. So then I have the opportunity to send text messages to a lot of people, which I like as well. And then I have the weather forecast here, which I pulled 11 hours ago. And this position is 119 nautical miles ahead of us. I can actually choose different positions, so I just go here on choosing point on the map, and then I can use this waypoint, or let's use this one here. So then I can use this waypoint that is about, I would guess, 80 nautical miles ahead. Choose this waypoint, give it a name. The next one would be 8. Then I save it, and then I can pull the weather forecast for this position. Let's do that now. Yeah, now the weather forecast has arrived. So that's for today. So 1 o'clock at the moment. The wind is forecasted east 50 knots. That is about right. That's what we have. And then at 3, 12, east northeast, 12, 11, and then 10, 8, 7. So we have seen the wind is decreasing over the next few days. That means I will set full sails at the right point of time. Very enjoyable, great cruise so far, and now with the sun out, super. Just a cold trip disappear. Good morning! It's another beautiful day. Sun is shining, a few clouds in the sky, but much warmer than the other days. During the night the wind was turning right from northeast to east, so I had to take out the foresail beam from starboard and put it into port side. And then it was turning further to east-southeast, so I had to change that again. Had to put the port side Genoa to starboard, and now we are sailing on half wind. Yeah, we continue with that, going a little bit more south because the wind should be more in the southern direction. So I got a text message via the Garmin device from Chris, and he said around latitude 20, which is less than 2 days travel for us. The trade wind would be much more stable. During the night we had contact with another sailing vessel, Eternity from the Netherlands, home port Lelystad, which is actually not too far away from Meckhausen, our home port. Yeah, the wind is sometimes turning rapidly, then obviously grabs behind the sail, and then they start hitting the rig. But all good. Wind is not too strong. Eternity is traveling to Grenada. It's a family, 4 people, and we are in contact via radio from time to time, and I think in the afternoon we have the next call. There's also another sailing vessel, I think it's a catamaran from Australia. I just put the foresail beam in, which makes a lot of sense with that angle to the apparent wind, 120 degrees. It's running well, and now we call the other sailing yacht Eternity, and let's see how it goes at their end.
Jambo, hier Eternity, over.
Ich habe mich noch gar nicht richtig vorgestellt, mein Name ist Martin.
Hallo Martin, hier ist an Bord Chris, Klaas, Amy, Björn. Klaas ist mein Mann, Amy und John sind mein Sohn und meine Tochter. Over.
Ah ja, prima. Hallo zusammen.
Hallo, sagt ihr. Okay, bis später. Wir versuchen es nahe dran, 5 O'clock, ein bisschen. Over.
Ja, meldet euch einfach gerne.
Okay, tun wir. Tschüss, bis später.
Okay, tot ziens.
Tot ziens.
That was great. Nice conversation. So we are not that alone here. Cool. So I'm cooking now. I have some chicken breast, which doesn't last very long, so it needs to be cooked today. Let's get started. Super. So now the dishes, and here's a rubbish bag. So all the plastics, etc. Is going into here. Yeah, do the dishes. So this one can go into the fridge. So that is for more than one day. So I can eat from that probably over the next few days. I've already showed you the rubbish bag. So that is from 6 days, so everything which is non-organic is going into the bag, and everything which is organic, like some rest of vegetables or fruits or even from the coffee, it goes overboard. Of course, that's not a problem, but everything else, like plastics, even glass, I'm not sure about that. Probably glass could go, but also the cans go into here as well. So I think I will probably have 3 or 4 of those bags at the end. So I'll keep that for the moment here. All the plastic which had meat in or similar things I wash with seawater, because otherwise it starts smelling. Yeah, I have to be careful with the water, because I have only 300 liters in the onboard water tank. And that is just for the normal consumption, like cleaning and washing of the hands. I have 150 liters drinking water with me as well, so that is more than enough. But I need to be careful here with the 300 liters on board. So even washing the hands is done with very small water. So something like that, and then obviously with soap. Try to get a feeling what I'm consuming. At the moment, it looks pretty good. It's 100%, and when the ship lists, then it's going to the next sensor 75%. Yeah, now let's do the dishes. Yeah, I had a good meal, dishes done, everything sorted out. We're cruising with Jambo towards west to Guadeloupe, and with that we are also crossing some time zones, which means every day the day is shifting a little bit, and we have to adjust the time during the cruise, and that's what we're doing now. Yeah, that's how it looks here at the moment. So wind around 82 degrees, around 14 knots. So speed over ground at the moment 4 to 4.5 knots. Course over ground 220. So at the moment we have on our time log here 4:30. So what we can do here, we can check the sunrise. So Aufgang, the German means sunrise, Untergang means sunset. So for our position here, 22 degrees north, 55 minutes, and 25 degrees west, 9 minutes. At the moment the sunrise is at 8:24 and the sunset at 7:15. So what we can do is we can change the time zone now to get a little bit better aligned with sunset and sunrise. So we do that here. We just go on UTC -1 and we are done. So time is now on the time log 3:30 and sunrise 7:24 and sunset 6:15 in the evening. So that works a little bit better. It's better aligned. Yeah, that's what we have to do for a few times now on our cruise. Sunset is not too far away and I'm getting really tired now. but I show you my cabin. So actually this is best place under deck. So when I'm sleeping during the night, I have 2 iPads. This one here is mirroring the chart plotter. I even can control it from here, and let's have a look on the wind at the moment. So that's the overview for the wind. So at the moment, wind from 87 degrees, which means it's east, and then the wind at the moment blowing with 14.0 or 14.2 knots. On average it's 12.7, and here on average it was 84 degrees. Speed over ground 5 knots, 4.9. Course over ground 220, 225. And this one here is the list, as we already said. So then I have also the Navionics app running here, so when I'm getting up during the night and check everything, then I have a look at that as well. So I'm doing interval sleeping whilst I'm doing 20 minutes in the Strait of Dover because of all the traffic there. 30 to 45 minutes on Biscay Bay. I'm doing 1 hour here on the Atlantic Ocean, which is sufficient. There's usually not much traffic. Also we have seen here the 2 sailing vessels here. So this one is Triplicity and this one is Eternity. So I've spoken with both. They both are aware that I'm solo sailing and doing interval sleeping. I informed them, but I also have my warning systems here in place via AIS and get well in advance of any collision or any possible collision, let's put it this way. So I get my warning here, so and, that works very well. So I'm actually extremely tired today. I'm looking forward to the sunset and I'm looking forward to my bed. Will be a good night because it's very convenient. The sea is very calm, so it should be really good. We're getting a little bit more wind, so I saw 12 knots in a bow on the screen, and also the sun is out now. That got me out of the cabin. It's nice and warm at the moment here. Yeah, during the night I had to take the mainsail in completely because the wind almost disappeared, and the foresail I rolled it in half because both were heavily flattering, and that is obviously not good for the sails. It's damaging them. And the whole night we cruise with 2.5 to 3 knots. The sun is out, so I'm waiting for the wind. Yeah, nice weather outside. So the first rubbish bag is full. That gets now stored in the other storage area. So what else do we have here? We have a pump here, 220 volt pump with a hose which is relatively fast installed. And remove this one here. Then I switch on the inverter here. Take this hose, connect it there, and then just let it run into the cockpit. So actually the pump delivers 4.8 cubic meters per hour. Obviously the other possibility is to pump water out of the ship. Yeah, with the bilge pump, but the capacity is not that great. And then also with the hand bilge pump, that depends on your own capability. Yeah, but I think you get more out with a hand pump than with electrical bilge pump. So then you can also use the engine, and let's have a look on that. So actually the engine is pumping via this impeller pump the seawater through the cooling circuit. So we could disconnect this one here and put this one here into the water and could pump with the engine as well. And we do not have much space until we get the first cables underwater. Actually this is the lowest point. It's alternator. So that is probably 10 centimeters above here. So there's not much space. Wind at the moment here, 10 to 14 knots from northeast or east-northeast. It's changing a little bit in between. So at the moment we have roughly 817 nautical miles behind. Still on southern course. We are not too far away from the Cape Verdean Islands. Roughly 250 nautical miles. But I'm still not intending to stop there. The intention is to sail south as far as needed and finding the trade winds. So actually I've reduced in size the foresail beam. It was extended up to 4.50 meters and now I think it's 3 meters, because during the night we expect the wind speed slightly increasing, which is appreciated obviously. Yeah, sunset is not too far away. It's 6:20 tonight. UTC -1, we changed the time yesterday. Yeah, let's see how the night will go. As I said, I hope for a little bit more wind. But I'm going to bed now. Good night. Delfine. Wahnsinn. Good morning. What a great start in the day. Dolphins around. The bread is baking. The coffee is being made. Fabulous. We are now almost on 20 degrees latitude north. Over the last couple of days we had not so much wind, so we had to cruise south to find the wind, which we did yesterday. So in the evening it started becoming a little bit more, 12 knots wind, 13 knots. So I've decided to put the trade sails up. That's not something which is that easy to do. So, but all good. And since around about 1 o'clock, we are now on more or less direct course to Guadeloupe. 5:04 at the moment. The sun is warmer now. We are more south. I like that as well. We have done more than 900 nautic miles. And direct distance to Guadeloupe is roughly 2000 nautic miles. But I think at the end it will be a little bit more because we are not cruising the direct coastline, because we are a little bit dependent on the wind. So we keep the angle to the current wind. So that means we drive a little bit like a snake. And at the moment we are also a little bit more on southern course. So let's see how many miles we will have at the end. I've slightly changed course to the north to keep on direct course to Guadeloupe. Actually, we have an angle to the apparent wind of 130 degrees. I had to extend the foresail beam slightly to make sure that the wind still grabs on the starboard Genoa. Additionally, I set the mainsail. Looks a little bit crazy, but all good. We're not making more speed. It's just that the pressure load is a little bit better shared between the foresails and the mainsail. Yeah, I think we are doing a little bit more speed with the mainsail set additionally, but it should be okay as long as the pressure is more or less constant in the sails and they're not heavily flattering. I don't see a problem. Actually, I got weather information. There's a low near Newfoundland, and that is that big that it might influence our wind here as well. So there might be no wind or less wind down to 18 degrees north latitude. So I've changed the course slightly by 10 degrees more to the south. Don't want to go completely south because then the way would be too long. But let's wait and see. It's running extremely well. I'm so excited. I've put the mainsail in because of the night. Sunset is not too far away and I'm really looking forward to my bed. The sea is a little bit rougher today. The waves are up to 2 to 3 meters. Also during the night it was very rough. Couldn't find good sleep. Yeah, Jambo is surfing down the waves, partially with a speed of over 8 knots over ground. Yeah, that's a little alarm, so I put a high wind speed alarm in, and it warns me above 23 knots. Yeah, but sails are set well, so I'm not too much bothered. We're still on course southwest, because the wind is expected more stable and better down south. We will probably cruise down to 16 degrees north latitude, or probably a little bit above, and then go on west course to Guadeloupe. But let's see. Hopefully we don't get caught by a less wind field. We'll see. But it is running well. Great fun here. Oh, good. Yeah, I had to reduce the sails, so I pulled the bows in a little bit because the wind was too strong. Above 20 knots for a longer time than the bows coming in. This is 24 knots. It's actually not that easy, so I have to take the Genoa, which don't have the beam, to the other side, and then go a little bit into the wind, and then very carefully pulling it in, and then actually, yes, you're using the winch as well, but only to get in the loose part of the line. Never really try to get it in with winch because it's too much power, and if something is not alright there, then you can damage it significantly. Yeah, speed at the moment around 6 knots. I feel much better now. All good. We are about 17 degrees north of latitude. Yeah, and even in January the sun is high in the sky. Very convenient, warm, great sailing today. So the wind is blowing around 17 knots out of northeast. The waves are about, I would guess, 1.5 meters. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the afternoon here. Good morning. We are about halfway through. Direct distance to Guadeloupe is about 1500 nautical miles at the moment. So not much wind today, 2 to 3 before. We will use this day for some work here on the boat. I would like to check the rudder inside, if there's everything okay. So I have to take out most things out of the cabin there to get access. And then we do a few other checks on board. I've also decided to take down the second Genoa. We've been cruising with 2 Genoas now halfway through to a year, but it's from a handling standpoint very difficult for me as solo sailor. And also when I need to change something, it takes very long, and then obviously you need to loosen the line and sails are flattering, and then there's always the risk that something gets damaged, and that's the main reason for that. Yeah, but first of all, we just enjoy this beautiful morning. So we are getting started, so I take most things out of the cabin now to get access. So that should be enough. Now we get into that area. It all looks good. It's a little steering arm. It's in the right position, so nothing has moved here. Here's a rudder sensor. Also in the right position, now all fine. Now I'm checking the keel bolts. That looks good, all dry. If there's some water, then actually there's a risk of losing the keel. That's also good, yeah. Some beer. Brief engine check. So the filter, the water filter, I've cleaned that a couple of days ago, but let's have a look on the oil level. It's also okay in the middle. Yeah, the batteries, I bought them newly in October, but they already have no capacity, really bad. So I checked those wires as well. It all looks alright. Yeah, it's very important to check everything during the cruise. Very important was the rudder system. I do that every 1000 nautical miles. Now it's 1500 since I've done it last time. And then many other things like the screws here of the rudder bearing, that was alright, and plenty of other things I did over the last few days. Yeah, but first of all, yeah, with the increasing wind, I would like to fly the drone and take some nice pictures. So now we are getting it back in. It all worked out well. Yeah, let's have a look if we could take some nice pictures. Now the biggest task of the day, taking down the second Genoa. So for that I will switch the engine on and then turn the boat into the wind. But first of all, taking out the foresail beam. Now let's get started. almost 1 hour work. So I have a break now and then I need to get in the 2nd January. Whew. Whew. A lot of work for the solo sailor. So I carry on. I try to fold it reasonably. Let's see. So all done, put the mainsail out as well. So we checked everything, changed the sails. A lot of work. I'm a little bit exhausted, but all good. So we are cruising with reasonable speed. Wind is 4/4, so let's wait for more wind. We are half an hour away from the sunset. It's been a working day. I'm a little bit tired. We have about 1,570 nautical miles behind and approximately 1,500 nautical miles ahead of us. So it might be good for half-time resume tomorrow. But now I'm going to enjoy the lovely sunset. Good night. Today no wind, but great experience. For more than 1.5 hours I'm accompanied by about 200 small whales. Really great. Great evening here. It's been a very nice day. See the whales, must have been 200 animals, I guess. At least there's still a few around, but we are getting less. Yeah, we have about 1,700 nautical miles behind and less in front of us. Don't know exactly how much it will be. At the moment, not much wind. We had 5 to 6 knots today, which is not enough to make good speed. So at the moment we are just drifting, I guess, with about 2 knots. But great day. During the preparation I had a lot of work. sorting out a few things in Germany, cutting all the videos. I want to get them done before I start on this cruise. And then obviously preparing the cruise, it was also a lot of work. I had been quite nervous before, because I wasn't sure what I had to expect. But when I had departed, was on the water, set the sail, everything was fine. Just a great feeling. I'm in contact with many people via the inReach Mini, and I'm getting the question a few times, is it not boring cruising over the Atlantic? But I always have to say no, that's not boring. I'm on my preferred place, that's my sailing yacht Jambo. I'm doing my preferred thing, my hobby, my passion, sailing, so why should it be boring? It's just enjoyable. I'm enjoying every day, and even a day like this, when there's not much wind, I enjoy that. Laying in the sun, enjoying the warm weather, sometimes taking some Atlantic water, a shower with that. No, really great, very enjoyable. Blue sky at the moment, deep blue water, unbelievable. A few little clouds at the horizon. Yeah, the sail is fluttering a little bit. There's some noise over there, that's how it is when there's no wind. So I'm looking forward to the sunset. Yeah, the only thing which is reliable is the unreliability of the wind. It goes up and down. The night was not very quiet. I think I got up at 2 because the sails were fluttering, and then the shower front went through the squalls, which was very nice to see on the radar screen. That was very good. And then the wind went up from one moment to the other, from 4 knots up to 15, 16, 17 knots. A lot of rain as well, which is good because it cleans the boat a little bit. Yeah, the wind is around 15, 16 knots at the moment. Sometimes we have a bow coming in and it goes up to 6 before. Fairly stable now. I have the Genoa fully set and speed around 5.5 knots. Also the sun is coming out, which I like very much, not only because I like the sun, I like to be in the sun, but also because we use the sun for producing the energy on board via the solar panels. And let's have a look how that is working at the moment. Yeah, here's the chart, so what we can see, the speed at the moment a little bit more than 6 knots and a little bit more southerly because the wind is more in the south. So let's have a look on the solar panels. So we have installed 4 times 120 watt peaks. So in total it's 480 watt peaks. So we have 2 solar controllers. The starboard couple of solar panels is running via the first one with a Z at the end, and at port side they are running via the second one with the R at the end. So let's have a look on this one here. So at the moment around 100 watts. Of course we are on western course and the starboard panels getting the shade from the sails earlier than the port side solar panels. So that is production of the last few days. So we started on the 7th, so that's not the first full day. The first full day was on the 8th. We were on course southwest, sailing butterfly, and we didn't get much because the solar panels were in the shade by the sail. Next day we went on course more to the west, and I had both Genoas up, and that was a little bit better. And then we had a few days afterwards, you see that here on the 12th to 14th, going a little bit down because it was cloudy. And then 6 days ago it's first peak with 800 watt hours, and we can see here it also went from bulk into absorption and float because the batteries were full. And the same couple of days ago it went into absorption and float. So we had 830 watt hours a couple of days ago. So basically what I'm getting here on average is about 1500 watt hours, which is roughly 120 ampere hours per day. That's half of the daily consumption here on board, which means I have to charge additionally with the engine, which is no problem, that was planned. Problem here are the batteries. I think I mentioned that before. I bought 2 new batteries with 175 ampere hours, so in total 350 ampere hours, and you usually can expect that you gain roughly half of that. So initially the plan was switching on the engine sometimes at midnight, charging the batteries, do the same thing in the morning when they're empty, so twice a day, and then I'm good. So obviously that doesn't work because they don't have the capacity. I switch them on every 3 hours during the night, 20 minutes. Doesn't make sense to have the engine running longer because they won't charge, because tiny little capacity is already full after 20 minutes. I also switch off the cooling, so the fridge is off. I switch it on obviously when I'm charging again during the day as well. That's saving some electricity as well. So that's not perfect. I have a consumption of about 4 to 5 liters diesel per day just for charging. I left the Marina not completely full. The diesel tank has a capacity of 150 liters, so I had a little bit out. 140 liters in, then 60 liters in reserve, which I already filled in. So I have 200 liters and don't know how long the journey will take. Might be 24 days, 25 or 4 weeks or 30 days. Oh, the strong gale alarm. Yeah. Sometimes it's going up, so yeah, but nothing serious, so it was only a little peak. So irrespectively if it takes 30 days, I will be fine with the diesel I have on board. So yeah, let's see when I will arrive. So at the moment, yeah, now clouds are coming in. Anyway, we'll get there. So running good speed at the moment. I'm fairly pleased, much better than I expected this morning. Yeah, let's see how the day goes. Yeah, it's evening again. Unbelievable how fast the time is running. Yeah, we're cruising into the 15th night. 5 to 4 at the moment. Yeah, and tomorrow is my birthday. Happy birthday, dear Martin. Happy birthday to me. All the best. Thank you, thank you. Are many people coming? Many apologies today. Yeah, okay, that's understandable. I think they are apologized under those circumstances. Alright, what about the cake? No cake, but a few bounties. Yeah, some bounties. Not too bad. Yeah, probably the 2 weeks lonely on sea are affecting me a little bit, talking to myself. No, I'm just kidding. So let's have a look on the presents. Those are not presents from me to me. Those were given to me prior to departure from my dear beloved. So let's have a look. Ja, cool. Dankeschön. So, the rucksack, the backpack. which is an anti-theft backpack, Bobby Hero, so you can't cut it here. So if you're walking through the street and many people there, so nobody can get access with a knife. And also the zip is inside here, so nobody can open the zip. Pretty cool. Ach, so ein schöner kleiner Fotokalender. Das ist ja süß. Ja, ist ja stark. Ja, klasse, mit allen schönen Fotos. Cool. Ja, super Idee. Klasse, Dankeschön. Nice day, nice sailing, great fun here. It was probably a little bit unusual to have the birthday alone on sea, but on the other hand I guess it's unforgettable. Yeah, we are not moving very fast, but slowly and steady. Good night. Nothing new to report. Everything alright. Very relaxed cruise. At the moment 5:04. With about 2,100 nautical miles behind, and direct distance is less than 1,000 nautical miles. But we need a little bit more, obviously. So everything fine here on board. At the moment I'm sailing butterfly. Works very well. From time to time the wind grabs behind the sail and then it's flattering a little bit, but not very often. So the sea is very calm. All good. No breakdown over the last few days. I've gone a little bit more south than Guadeloupe is. Guadeloupe is about 16 degrees north latitude. And we are half a degree further south because I went down here because the wind should be a little bit better, which it is obviously, because we have 5:04 the whole morning. Hope it continues. Yeah. The mileage, the daily mileage of the last few days was around 100. So it could be that we need another 10 or 11 days to get to Guadeloupe. That doesn't matter, it's just fine here. I'm really enjoying it. I'm also fishing. Yesterday I had a fish on the hook, but then I made a mistake with the stick, so I pressed the wrong button and then the line went out, and then at the end it disconnected. So today I had another fish on the hook, but that got free by itself, so I didn't lose anything. Yeah, let's see if I catch something What else am I doing? Yeah, not much. I'm sleeping very well. It's a little bit bugging that I have to get out all 3 hours here, switching the engine on, waiting 20 minutes and then go back to bed. And apart from that, everything fine. I'm baking my bread every 3rd day, having nice breakfast here, cooking something, relaxing, laying in the sun, listening to the music, just enjoying it. Really great. Good afternoon! I've now 19 days on sea and about 2,300 nautical miles done. I guess it will be another 800. Also it looks a little bit closer on the chart, but as I said, we need a little bit more because we are following the wind. Yeah, not much happening at the moment. Obviously beautiful weather, a gentle breeze is pulling us towards Guadeloupe, about 10-11 knots wind. Yeah, I'm still trying to catch a fish. I was very close yesterday, had 3 on the hook, but all 3 got off the hook. And it was quite heavy to pull them in. Probably need to change the little fish which is at the end of the line. Yeah, but let's see. Well, nothing special. From time to time a few flying fishes, but everything's still very cool here, very relaxed. So let's see how long it really takes. Good morning! Yeah, we are still on our way, as we can see. So there's one thing which I tried to test for at least a week. That was this alternative steering system, which I've now installed, because if the system is falling here, then obviously I need to have an alternative. So I put that in here. That is with those bungees. What I'm using here is a change of the force in the line on different angles here. Obviously when the sail is flattering, there's not much force in the line, but if you go a little bit more windward and get more pressure in the sail, then there's more force. Yeah, and that is what I'm using here with those bungees. Basically what I need for the whole thing here is obviously those steering lines, which is a smaller one, but has a good brake force of 300 kilograms, so no risk with that. So then I need some screws here to put them on the helm, and then obviously those bungees. I have several of those, 15 kilograms, 25, 35, 45 and 55. So this one is a 35, probably could have used the 45, might have worked a little bit better, but it's running. So this is basically just an alternative. It's not perfect. You cannot sleep for 2 hours and then expect that it runs perfectly. From time to time you need to help the system get back on track, but I mean, now it's running for 15 minutes. Before I had it running for 30 minutes before I had to do something. It depends obviously a little bit on the wind direction. If that is very changeable, then obviously you need to do more, and also on the wind force. So if the wind speed is increasing and decreasing, going up and down, then obviously you need to do something more often, but at the moment it's reasonably stable. So it works between an angle of 90 degrees and 180 degrees to the apparent wind. So ideally in the middle, 120 to 160 degrees. And actually that's what we are cruising at the moment. So it's a good alternative if everything fails. I'm now almost 21 days on sea. We have more than 2,400 nautical miles behind. And direct distance is about 600 nautical miles, but as I say, we need a little bit more. We're dependent on the wind. So the daily mileage for the last few days was not very good. Yesterday we had 74 nautical miles. Today it will be similar. So I might put up the second January again and put them in trading wind position to get a little bit more speed. Because if it is now 650 or 700 nautical miles, if I get at least 100 nautical miles per day, then I would be in Guadeloupe in 7 days. So if I get 70, then it's obviously 10 days, so that's a huge difference. So let's see, but another beautiful day. Sun is shining, it's very warm. Really enjoyable cruise so far, so yeah. Let's see that we are getting closer to Guadeloupe. Yeah, I've pulled the second January up and now we have the trade wind sails running. Wind speed at the moment 12 to 11 knots out of northeast, so a little bit better than the other few days. So the daily mileage is not so good, so I think today we finish with 81 nautical miles, a little bit better than yesterday, and hopefully now we get a little bit more. To Guadeloupe it's probably a little bit more than 600 nautical miles to do. I already had a look in the cruising guide, so very nice places there, very nice spots, anchor spots, nice marinas, so I'm really looking forward to get there now. Probably I shouldn't have looked into the cruising guide. No, it looks really great. Yeah, apart from that, another beautiful day. It's very warm now. Totally different to what I had before when I started and sat here with a little jacket and was a little bit freezing. Today I put several times the Atlantic water over my head to cool a little bit down. Oh, really good. So we are now on the home stretch. So let's get it done now. Good morning. I'm 24 days on sea. I have about a little bit less than 2,800 nautical miles behind and a little bit more than 300 nautical miles ahead. I pulled up the second January a few days ago and unfortunately I had to take it down yesterday because it was damaged. I think I have been a little bit negligent during the night and it was pulling too much there and flattering too much, so the ring where the lines are connected has been ripped off almost completely. Yeah, those mistakes are not forgiven on sea. You get punished very hard, so I lost 50% of my jigs, so I'm now running the reserve January, but I think we're fine sailing butterfly, but at the moment I feel a little bit tired. The body is a little bit exhausted. Not quite sure if that's related to the 24 days on sea now or to the hard work over the last couple of days. So at the moment I keep the foresail beam on starboard and I'm not changing it from one side to the other because it's too much work single-handed and I don't feel that fit and comfortable doing that job here on the deck. So if I need to change course and the wind is changing too much at the moment, when the wind is east or east-northeast, I can sail butterfly and have a reasonable course. but as soon as the wind is changing to southeast, what it is supposed to do during this afternoon, I just take over the mainsail to the other side and sail half wind, almost half wind, and drive this zigzag to Guadeloupe. So that's much better and saving some efforts, and so I need to rest a little bit over the next couple of days. Yeah, food is getting less and less as well, so there's no risk that I going to starve, but all the nice things are gone now. So the yogurt has been finished a few days ago. Orange juice. Yeah, the sails are flattering. It's the wind. It's not enough wind to keep it stable. So orange juice has gone this morning. For bread I have just ham left, so no cheese. Okay, a little bit honey as well. And then for lunch, I have some noodle dishes, so I have eggs, but it's not much. Also fruits. So I've eaten less over the last few days to make sure that I have every day a little bit fruit. Yeah, it gets time to arrive in Guadeloupe. Probably I should have bought a little bit more fruits, more yogurt, obviously more orange juice. Let's see. But the good thing is I have more space in the fridge, and I could put the first beer down there for the arrival. I also tried my luck with fishing, but unfortunately I couldn't get a fish on board. But I will try next night again. So I also had some rain and tested my water collection system. I have a hole here in the bimini, put a hose on and also could collect some water. But it was not clear enough because there's still the dust of Lanzarote in the bimini. I think it needs a few more showers to wash it completely out. And then I can from time to time collect some water. Not sure if I need it in the Caribbean Sea, but it's another option. Apart from that, don't work too hard on the sails. Better taking a little bit more time to the arrival, but I'm fairly optimistic that I will arrive on Monday. But relax a little bit, step a little bit down, rest, and get the last 3 days done. "26 days on sea, 3,000 nautical miles behind. We're sailing into the last night. We have about 73, 74 nautical miles ahead to the Marina bus 4. That's our destination on Guadeloupe. We have a good chance to see the first lights of some of the smaller islands before Guadeloupe, to see them probably midnight, something like that. We will see. Yeah, I haven't been lucky with fishing, so I stopped that yesterday. That was not due to less effort or missing effort. I think I put a lot of effort in, but I was just unlucky. Probably next time I start a little bit earlier when I'm crossing next time the Atlantic Ocean. I would start a little bit earlier than with that. Also had a visit from some dolphins today, yesterday some smaller whales, so it seems we are getting closer to the coastlines. Wind at the moment 10-11 knots. I've chosen a half wind course to get a little bit speed for a couple of hours into the boat. It's not direct course now, but it will put down the mainsail in a couple of hours or 1 hour, and then I go on direct course, but then the yacht is more rolling, so it's a little bit more stable now. Yeah, I look forward to the exciting night and to the arrival tomorrow. I can see land. Sun is rising here, and the coastline of Guadeloupe is visible here starboard ahead. Great feeling after more than 3,000 nautical miles. Really good. What I will do now is setting the courtesy flag and the Q flag so that everything is in order when we are approaching the marina. Very special coffee this morning, unforgettable. I've switched the engine on, taking the sail down, preparing everything with lines and fenders, so the normal program. I will get in contact via radio with the marina. Marina, this is sailing vessel Jambo, sailing vessel Jambo. Can you hear me? Bonjour, I'm just arriving from the Canary Islands and we need a berth. No, I couldn't reserve. So the marina doesn't have a berth for us. Quite crazy. After more than 3,000 nautical miles and almost 4 weeks, we don't get a berth here, but no problem. I'm approaching the fuel dock now. Hopefully I can take some water at least, because the water tank is empty, and then I'm going to drop the anchor somewhere and drive with the dinghy into the town, so let's see. Actually, we didn't get a berth, so I went to the fuel ponton, took some diesel, refilled the inboard water tank, so that's okay now. Now I'm having my arrival breakfast. I will get the dinghy ready afterwards, drive over, see if I can do customs clearance, buy something, find a supermarket there. Yeah, and then I'm enjoying the first day in the Caribbean Sea here at anchor. Already spoke with the marina office again, and they tried to squeeze me in tomorrow. Yeah. So let's see if that works out and if I get a berth tomorrow. I've gone over with the dinghy to the marina office for customs clearance. It was very easy. I had to key in all the data on a computer and then they printed it out, made a stamp on it. I had to sign it, pay €3, and that was customs clearance here. Very easy, very good. Yeah, I also went to the supermarket, bought a few things. Has been a great Atlantic crossing. Super cool. It was the dream, as I thought. Probably my halftime resume is not much to add. I had a little low a few days ago, so around 23, 24 days on sea. Physical low, but also from a mental standpoint, when my Genoa was damaged due to my, well, I was not attentive enough, so it was flattering during the night, and I think it was my mistake, so point on me. But I think it's pretty normal that on such a long cruise you come to a point when you are knackered, physically exhausted, a little bit fatigue, but now everything is fine. I feel top fit, really fresh. Sleeping was great during the cruise. I started with intervals of 1 hour in the beginning, and then afterwards on the middle of the ocean it was 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So it was really good because there was absolutely no ship, nothing on the screen for weeks. So that was good. Yeah, now I'm hoping that I get a berth here in the Marina tomorrow. I will drive over with the dinghy tomorrow again and ask them again, and if I don't get a berth, I carry on. But now the well-deserved arrival beer, the anchor beer, so the Caribbean one. I hope it tastes after 4 weeks, because I'm not drinking when I'm sailing, so no alcohol on the water, because that is a 24/7 job. So if you drink something during the cruise and then something is happening and full attention is required, and you have some alcohol into, then it's probably not too good. It's, for me, it's too risky, and I didn't miss the alcohol, didn't miss the beer, but really looking forward to this one. Cheers. Oh, it still tastes very good. Excellent beer. Fine. So I think I need to settle down a little bit. Starting to realize that I'm now in the Caribbean Sea, across the Atlantic, single-handed. Really good. And from here I'm starting to explore the Caribbean islands. It's pretty warm here. The sun is now going down, and there's not much shade here. So exploring the Caribbean islands, starting with Guadeloupe. As I said, if they don't have a berth, I carry on tomorrow. Already have a nice spot in my mind where I either get a buoy and moor at a mooring buoy, or drop the anchor again. No problem at all. Here I feel very comfortable because it's very calm. So I've no issues that, or don't feel that there's a high risk that the anchor wouldn't hold. So really good here. So then I either drop the anchor there and then I cruise up the western coast of Guadeloupe. There are also a few nice stops, and then carry on via Antigua, Barbuda to St. Martin and then later BVI. So that's the plan. But now I'm continuing to enjoy my beer. Oh, wow. See you.